Headed to a forward observer's position right now. Should be up here somewhere. There he is. Yeah, I got here as soon as I could. What do you got? What you just observed was an AI forward observer calling in a fire mission on an enemy AI. Today I'm going to share a new script with you which will enable you to set up an AI forward observer that will call in artillery fire missions on enemy players and AI spotted in your Arma 3 scenario. AI artillery forward observer script. To begin with, let's install the script. Let's go to the scenario tab at the top and then down to open scenario folder. Here we are in the mission folder. I'm going to bring up another folder with the script in it. And this is a zip file that I'm going to share with you guys. Alright, so I'm going to link this in the description of the video, and after you download it and extract it, you can just open it if you want and then just grab the script and drag it into your mission folder just like that. We'll close the zip and we'll remove the zip. You're going to have the script inside your mission folder just like this. Alright, so this is the new script, AI Artillery Forward Observer script. Let's open it and review it. So let's go over to the description on what this script does. So this script will enable chosen AI acting as a forward observer, or FO, for an artillery group. The AI FO, or spotter, will watch for enemy units, players, or AI within a configurable radius and call artillery fire missions based on what he can actually see. The core behavior behind the FO is that he uses a line of sight to check to see what enemies he's going to call artillery on instead of the nosebout function or reveal. So with line of sight, he has to actually see the enemy. The forward observer only becomes active after a configurable start delay. So after like 10 seconds or 15 seconds after seeing the enemy, then he will start to call artillery. The FO can call two types of fire missions, basically a group fire mission and a single target fire mission. So a group fire mission consists of at least 4+ individuals or vehicles, something like a group. Once those units remain visible for at least a certain amount of time, which is like 5 seconds by default, then he will call fire missions on them. Single target fire missions is basically when he, let's say for example, he called a fire mission on a group and there was a Jeep amongst it, and the Jeep somehow escaped the artillery, got away, and is wherever, but he is in visible range. The FO will call artillery on that lone unit. Alright, so the FO is forced into a defensive posture once he spots some enemy. The artillery guns are checked with in range of artillery, so they only fire if the target is within their minimum max range, and it's kind of based on engine limitations which still apply. There is also an optional debug mode which shows what the FO sees, so basically potential enemy units, visible enemies that he actually sees, timers, and some other information. That's off by default. Alright, let's go down to how to set up files and code. So step 1 is to move the artillery forward observer SQF script into your mission folder, which we did already here. Step 2 is to create a notepad document and copy the following parameter code into it. So what you're going to do is just highlight this, press Ctrl C. We're going to start up a notepad document, press Ctrl V, which you see a cursor blinking, and that will paste the code. So this is a parameter code that we're going to configure how the FO does what he does. Go back to the script. Step 3 is save and name the script initServer.sqf, or call it from the FO's init as shown further below. So what you're going to do to make this simple is just highlight the name of the script, because we're creating a script. Press Ctrl C, and let's go to File, and then go down to Save As. That will open up a save dialog, and then go down to Save As Type. Go to All Files. What you're going to do is you're going to look for your mission folder that your script is in. So for me, it's going to be under Missions. So we'll go to Normandy SPE, and if you have something set up like this, then just go to Date Modified. It'll put the latest mission that you're working on at the top. So here is my mission folder. I'll just open that. And the reason why I set all files is so you can see the mission SQM and the script that we installed. This tells you that you're in the correct folder. But this is mainly for the beginners, just some tips for you guys. So once you find your mission folder, just go to File Name. Make sure the cursor blinking and press Ctrl V. That will paste the name that we copied in the script. So just before we save this, be sure this is correct. So it should say init in small letters and then capital S server.sqf. This is important because this is case sensitive. So once you have that, just hit save. Then we can close this, and to know that we have that in our mission folder, just bring up your mission and you'll see the script right here. Alright, let's go to the next step. So the next section is how to set up editor. Step 1 is place an AI unit you want to be the forward observer. Then give him a variable name. Define that variable name in the parameter code that you put into the initServer.sqf script. In our mission folder, we have the initServer.sqf, and in the first parameter, this whole thing are a bunch of parameters, but this first part right here is going to be the name of the forward observer that you're going to give. So you're basically going to give them a variable name, which is going to be whatever you want it to be, and then you're going to put that name right here before this comma. Alright, here we are on the mission, and we are actually in a radio truck. Alright, let's go to the forward observer. So the forward observer is a radio man. He could be any unit you want him to be. All you have to do is you edit your unit that you want to make the FO and just give him a variable name. So you go to the variable name box here, and you can give him whatever name you want. I just happen to name him FO1. So whatever name you want to give him, you take that name and then you put it to the parameter in the initServer.sqf. In the initServer.sqf, I have FO1 as the first parameter. Go back to the script. After you define the variable name and put it in the parameter code that you put in the initServer script, let's go to step 2. Step 2 is copy the code below, which is this code. We'll just copy this and press Ctrl C and paste it into the AI's FO's init box. Once you're in the game and you edit the forward observer, you're going to paste this code in his init box just like that. Now that just kind of enhances his skill It gives him like some buffs, if you will, that will just help him spot any enemy and their distance and set the skills so that he spots them quicker. That's basically all that's for. Step 3 is place the desired artillery weapons you want the FO to use and give them each a variable name, and then define those names in the parameter code in your initServer.sqf script. So in the initServer.sqf script, you have the first parameter, which is the name of the FO or the artillery observer that you're going to use, which is our unit. Here is an array for the guns or weapons, whatever you want to name them, are going to be. So I have 4 guns set up. Each gun is named gun 1, gun 2, gun 3, 4. Alright, let's go take a look at the guns. The guns are back here. And here we have a mortar, and what I name this weapon is gun 1. And remember, when you're going to name your weapons, you name the weapons itself, not the crew. So the crew is outside this, and you edit the weapon and just name it gun 1. Just remember that that's what you want. And here we have a Nebelwerfer. So same thing, this one is named gun 4. And over here we have 105 centimeter LFH 18 artillery guns with a full crew. And this gun is named gun 2. Then we have gun 3. In your parameter, like as I said, you're going to put the names of your guns. It doesn't need to be 4 guns, it could be 1 gun. Now if you're going to do 1 gun, then it's going to be like that, no comma after. But for more guns, you're going to put a comma, gun 2, comma, gun 3, comma, gun 4. Go back to the script. Alright, so we placed the desired artillery weapons and we gave them a variable name. And number 4 is adjust the parameter code using the parameter reference below for your desired setup and play. So I just want to point out that from here all the way up, it is basically a readable description. The code in here has no function whatsoever. The actual code for the script that works, that the game will read, is from there and below. So all you need to do is configure the parameter right here, only use this parameters reference as your guide to adjusting the parameters. So let's go over the parameters reference. The object right here, the first parameter, is the spotter unit, the AI who is doing the spotting. So basically this is the first parameter. The array artillery guns being used by the FO, this is the second parameter, which is this. And then we have the third parameter, which is rounds per gun per call. Default is 5, so that's this. I set it for 3. And then here is the next parameter, spotting radius in meters. Keep this in mind that 2,000 meters is actually pretty far. First I had it at 1,000 meters, and for what I have set up in the mission, it wasn't close enough. The FO won't even fire because they're just not in range of the guns. So for that, that's 2,000 right here. I would recommend sticking with that. If you have something closer, then just reduce that number. Just remember that's in meters. So this next parameter here is going to be this. This is the cooldown between fire missions. So this is 20 seconds. And that's basically what I have here. This says false, and that is this. This is the debug mode. Basically, it's hints in dialogue. If you want to see what the FO is actually seeing and attacking and stuff, and how many, you can just set that to true, and a hint at the top right of the screen in-game or your side will show for the FO, and you'll be able to see all that, but that's off by default. Alright, so the next parameter is 15, and that is delay in seconds before the FO becomes active. So this is basically after the FO spots the enemy that he will be active to call fire missions 15 seconds. So you can lower this, you could raise this, whatever you want to do. This next setting, number 4, is right here, group fire. This is the minimum enemies visible. The FO has to see a minimum of 4 enemy before he will call a fire mission. And then once he spots the enemy, 15 seconds will count down, and then he will call a fire mission after. So that's what this 4 is for. So the next one is group fire, observe time in seconds. That is this. This is the group fire. And this is single target observe time, which is 3 seconds. And that's this last parameter here. So this is all you have to configure when you're setting up your forward observer. That's really all you need to know. There's 2 other parameters that are set up here, so you could use this if you want. This is the same as what we put into an init server. This is an example for the FO's init. It's an alternative, so you put this whole thing in the init box instead of an init server. You could do that if you want, but I would just stick with the init server. So that's really all you need to know. Let's take a look at the script in action. Alright, let's play it. Alright, so here's the FO, and he's going to have some targets out there. I got a couple of squads that I can call. So we're going to start with an infantry squad, and they're going to show up to the bottom right there. There they are. And a Jeep. Subwoofer. Jeep is still alive. Let's bring up the APC. APC group. Pounded this area. Alright guys, I hope you like that and find this useful. Find having a FO in your mission to be useful in some way. I want to thank you guys for watching, and for more codes and scripts, take a look at this playlist.